How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know I've been pretty inactive between just being really busy with work, traveling, and personal life. Things have been slowing down a bit where I can kind of use this video as an update to catch you guys all on everything that I've been doing to the cars. Although I haven't really been putting out any content, I have still been working on the cars actually a lot. If anything, the reason why I haven't uploaded anything is because I took the time to really enjoy working on my vehicles, and I'm gonna go through all of my cars, my garage space, things I've done, things I plan on doing. And unfortunately, there's one car that is leaving actually tonight. It's getting picked up that I sold. The last time I uploaded a video was actually taking the Laurel to a show at a prison in Joliet, and I unveiled it on the work emits. Since then, there's been a lot done to the car that I haven't shown you guys unless you follow me on my social media. So it's still on the work emit, although some things that I've done, engraving all around the car, and this was all done by my friend in Florida. His name is Freddie Zach, and the company is called Engrave Company. This is not traditional hand engraving. This is done with a laser. And while some people might, have their opinions on this, at the end of the day, I am supporting a friend's business and venture. And we've been talking about this actually for maybe a couple years. This is something I've always wanted to do. The effect of laser engraving is a lot different, and it kind of opens up the opportunities to get essentially anything I want engraved. He is currently awaiting an engraving tool, and he's also going to start offering hand engraving. So a lot of this might be redone, although some things will be left because the effects of the laser engraving leaves a really cool, subtle, almost like a bronze finish to it, and it just looks really perfect. And I'm a big fan of how this looks. And now I'm just going to quickly go through everything that's been done. One of them being the center caps of the work emits. A lot of people keep asking me to do the lips. I do not want to do the lips. I think it would just look too busy, and I like the look of a clean lip. So having the center caps done just really gives it the subtlety, and it just doesn't make it look too busy. Just like the thing I like about the engraving is they're small details that the more you look at the car, the more you start noticing things. Another was all the door handles. We're done. These are not fun to remove and put back in, but the outcome of the handles, it's one of my favorite things that I've gotten done on the Laurel. Moving to the rear, actually one of the very first things I got done were the exhaust tips, and they look really cool, especially at night when all the lights are on. The way it lights up the exhaust tips is pretty cool. And then another thing that I got done was my license plate frame. So it kind of just flows with the tips, and it also lights up. Even when the sun hits it, it looks really cool. So on top it says Driver's Gallery, which is my shop. On the bottom it says Style and Spirit. It's just been a phrase that I kind of follow with all my cars. And for those of you guys wondering, Espada, yes, it's a Bleach reference. I'm a big anime nerd, and I also speak Spanish. Ties in with the car well. The shift knob is also engraved, and it's so sick. He did more of a deep engraving on this and polished it, and it just looks really cool. And to add to that, the e-brake button was even done as well. The same design on the top of the e-brake button is the same design on top of the shift knob, and this took a lot of tries to get this right, and I mean, he just knocked it out. Next step is I do want to get this done as well, and I believe this is metal actually. He doesn't think it is, but this winter I'm going to take this off and try and see if I could sand it down pure aluminum and get this matching with these two. As far as future plans go with the Laurel, it's definitely going to be more engraving. I have something pretty neat coming for the headlights that I will be building this winter as well, and they're coming from New Zealand, so that's pretty exciting. Fortunately, the car is like smoking pretty bad, and that's gonna be diagnosed, and more than likely it's gonna need an engine rebuild. This car has always been fighting me since day one, but it is not the car I'm gonna sell. It's the car I actually really plan on keeping for the rest of my life. So moving on, I brought the Datsun home, and last time you guys saw this car was actually, I believe, when I was dropping it off. So the L28 is in it now, and yeah, I fit 4 cars in here with like not much room for error when I'm pulling things in. But if this car was any bigger, there's no way I'd be able to fit 4 cars in here and being able to open the doors and get out. Obviously, this is a car I'm never gonna sell because just like the Laurel, it has a lot of sentimental value and it's not done, but the goal is to finish it this winter. Now, Premier Auto Sports in Indianapolis threw the engine in it and it's been doing a lot of work to it, and now I got it back in my possession, so I can start some of the next phases of finishing this car. There's still a lot left to do on it, but the next phase is to get all the brake lines built and done and have functioning brakes. Once the brake lines are all routed and installed and functioning, the next step is to start taking the interior apart, pulling the dash, start fitting my gauges, and then start wiring that. While simultaneously, I'm also going to be doing the cooling system on this. Then after like the cooling system's done and all of that's put together, then it's putting back all the exterior pieces, getting the linkage all done, and then plugging in my engine harness and my ECU, which actually that would go all with the wiring. So there's still a lot left to do, but the goal is to have this car done and out and running by late spring, early summer, and hopefully sooner than that. And then next on the list is the wagon. I've done a couple things, nothing too serious, but it's also really dirty because this is the daily that I drive a lot. I wish I would have vlogged this because this was actually fun. I had the front end apart and I took headlights apart and I did a amber delete. I baked them open, unscrewed the amber inside, they're actually removable, and then didn't put anything back in. It's already chrome underneath the amber, and I just put them back. While I did that, I also wired in all new LEDs, full 100% LEDs, no HIDs, none of that. Wired in resistors for the turn signals. The resistors are mounted inside the fenders. It's like super clean and just gives it a very more modern look on the car. I also got this cargo box for it before heading to Gallenberg because I had a lot of stuff to transport and this thing was a lifesaver. So this is the Alpine Motion XT, I think. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's the name. It's pretty like sleek. I didn't want one too bulky, big, or anything, and I feel like this one kind of fits the look of the wagon the best. Remember when I said there's just literally no room for error when I'm pulling any of these cars in and out? I really mean that. Unfortunately, I clipped my garage when I was leaving for work, rushing and tired on a Monday morning. But the new mirror should be here tomorrow, and then I'll just be replacing it. As far as like some of the future things I want to do to the wagon is kind of dial in my wheel fitment a bit more. Also get the wheels refinished. I do still want to stick with these wheels. I like these wheels a lot. For those of you that don't know, they're 19-inch Honda Accord touring wheels from the 2018-2019 Honda Accord. Then another thing that I would love to do if things work out and I come across a really nice deal is get the Modulo. I think it's how it's pronounced. Modulo, I don't know. Front bumper and lip. It gives it a very aggressive look. It's actually OEM and they are very rare and expensive, unfortunately. Now that leads me to the Chaser, and unfortunately this is the car that is going away and that I'm selling. This is getting picked up tonight, and I am going to be really sad because I went through a lot to get this car. I bought it in auction in Japan, shipped it to Canada. It sat there for about 1.5 years all being stored, and I collected parts for it, and then I had to import it from Canada to the States again. So I went through a lot to get this car, and I bought it in early 2020 when COVID was starting to hit the States and starting to affect the market. It's always been a dream to own a Chaser, although after owning it, surprise, I have actually nothing bad to say about it. It's one of the best cars I've ever owned, one of the most reliable cars I've ever owned, and I even drove it down to Gallenberg and back, as is, keeping the bumper on, static, like I just drove it down for an 18-hour round trip, not even including all the driving it did the week of Gallenberg. 0 issues. I could not do that in the Laurel. Like, I have major trust issues with that car. Now, I know it doesn't make sense as to why this one would be the one I would sell, but at the end of the day, it just sits in the garage. I actually don't drive it a lot, and I haven't even done much to it ever since I knocked it all out in about a month. It's an amazing car, and I am actually gonna really miss it. This will probably be the first car I will miss and regret selling, but I feel like I could pass this on to someone that would enjoy it more. To me, it's more sad seeing it sit in my garage, and I don't really need to get rid of it. But there is a car that I have been wanting for a really long time, even before I got the Chaser, but I got the Chaser because I wanted to try JZX and kind of cross it off my list. But the point of getting that car is to actually drive it more, and there are a couple of them that I'm looking at, but I'm not going to release any details because nothing's set in stone as far as the car I'm picking up. But of course, you guys will get a video of that when that happens. To me, it's gonna be crazy that this is probably one of the last times I'll see all 4 of these cars together. It's gonna be a depressing night, and I know, like, well, why not just keep it and stuff, but I wanna do more, and I just wanna move on to the next thing. I usually always keep my cars for a long time, and the Datsun I'm going on 9 years with. Laurel's been 6 years going, now moving on to 7, Chaser going on to 4. and I just have not driven it. So this can fund finishing the Datsun, and to me, that's a win. The last part I want to talk about is my garage. So I've been spending some time cleaning it up, reorganizing it, and just trying to not make it as messy as it used to be. So there's still a lot of things I want to do to the garage, and a lot of things I have planned. One of them being my ceiling. As you can see, the tape is just literally falling off. So that is pretty priority. I plan on getting my ceiling fixed and repainted, and then eventually one day I will get the floors redone, although I might not do that until this car is done and running, because then I can take it and store it somewhere else while the floors are getting refinished. Another thing I plan on doing is getting rid of this mess. I hate this so much, and all the cords and everything. So the plan is, and I might do that next, is take down all of this and put a new TV up here in its space, and that'll clean up that wall, and then I'll be hanging up some decor on that wall. I do want to get like a wheel rack here so I could put on some wheels and stuff and have that organized. And then the very last thing I want to do is I want to get all my cabinets replaced. Not even redone or anything. These are falling apart. Show you guys by falling apart. There used to be cabinets there until they literally fell off the wall and disintegrated. But that would probably be one of the last things I'll do here in the garage. Now, that pretty much sums up the video. It's more of a quick update to just show you guys everything that I've been doing, and unfortunately the departure of one of the cars. But I am gonna be trying my best to be more active. The next video might even be picking up the next car. I'm excited for what's next. I'm excited to just plan out that car. It's gonna have its own purpose, and I plan on driving it. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you guys watching. Fortunately, this will be the last video with this car.